from the South African National Biodiversity Institute. We are the national implementing entity for the Adaptation Fund in South Africa. The climate predictions for South Africa are warming. That's pretty much agreed. The rainfall predictions are less clear. The models say slightly different things, and it changes as you move from east to west. Overall, there seems to be agreement about changes in rainfall patterns, delays in the coming of the rain, so seasonal shift, and more intense storms and flood events. And what that means for local communities is quite a lot of storm and flood damage, and for local communities that depend on agriculture, big impacts for local production. What a fantastic opportunity this has been in South Africa, just to have a focus on climate change adaptation and be able to elevate it through our various steering committees to the level of National Treasury, the Presidency, and so on. And certainly through our experience, we're seeing a lot of traction and a lot of interest around funding this kind of local level adaptation work. We're certainly learning that there are different kinds of climate finance. And when we speak about $300 million for an infrastructure project that requires a certain kind of institution and a certain set of processes, those projects will never deliver the kind of local, context-specific benefits that the kind of projects that the Adaptation Fund funds, $10 million and down, are able to do. And I think that's really what we're learning, is how important these relatively small amounts of money are for delivering those kinds of benefits, noting that those amounts of money are really not small for the communities in which we're working. In fact, one of our projects will be a small grant facility that will bring project sizes that are about $100,000 to local communities, and even that amount of money, which is very little in the context of global climate finance, that amount of money will make a huge difference to resilience on the ground in the vulnerable spaces that we're working. And what I would say to other NIEs is carve out the time for proper project development and recognize all the co-benefits that come when those kinds of processes are supported. Project development takes time, and the analogy is one of a tree, and saying that the deeper the roots of the tree are, the more sturdy the tree will be. So we have spent a lot of time preparing the soil, planting the seed, growing the roots. It's taken us 10 months to develop the project. I hope that the 10 months of project preparation will do what we think it will do, which will be to put these projects on a really steady ground, really embedded in the communities in which we're wanting them to take hold, a lot of stakeholder support for the projects, and along the way, a lot of capacity building. We've been able to develop a South African strategy for how we want this money to be spent. And all of the projects that we are supporting are in line with that strategy that was developed through a consultative participatory process, and requires, among other things, for all the projects to be fully aligned with the development and priorities of the country, with the policies of the country, and so on. So through direct access, we've been able to make sure that the kinds of investments align fully with the priorities of the country. Further, what we've been able to do through our steering structures is elevate the prominence of climate change adaptation. So it's not just a project that comes and goes, it's a framework for investment that allows South Africans who are in very influential positions to see how climate change adaptation finance can make an incredible and positive difference for vulnerable communities on the ground. Direct access allows us to support the executing entities in project development in a very hands-on, very supportive, very direct way. So what we've been able to do through the direct access modality is visit the project sites many times. Up to 15 times we've been to project sites, meeting with local communities, meeting with local actors, building capacity where that's necessary, finding project champions for the different components of the project. We understand the country. We have got the credibility of knowing how it works in South Africa. And I think we're able to bring through direct access that credibility, that local understanding, that commitment to the projects. It's only through direct access that we have been empowered to work in this very direct, tangible way with the funding opportunity and build partnerships that were not there before and were not necessarily obvious. We're proud to be a partner. Thank you, Adaptation Fund.